A very warm welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide on a truly fascinating journey today. We are going to explore a biological phenomenon that operates entirely in the background of our lives, yet it impacts nearly every single one of us. It is called sarcopenia, or as we often call it, the silent muscle thief. Let's unravel the science of age-related muscle decay together and make the complex beautifully simple.
3 to 5%. Now, you might be wondering, what is that? Well, it is not just some abstract statistic. This is the staggering amount of muscle mass you naturally lose every single decade after you cross the age of 30. It is a quiet theft, happening day by day, year by year, slowly but surely draining your body's physical reservoir.
Okay, let's dive into this. Sarcopenia is precisely defined as the progressive, age-related loss of skeletal muscle mass, strength, and function. You see, a lot of us mistakenly believe that getting weaker is just an inevitable, unavoidable part of getting older. But the science tells us a completely different story. Sarcopenia is an actual, specific medical condition, a major health concern that directly drives frailty in older adults. And it is progressive, meaning it sneaks up on you and builds over time.
To truly grasp just how stealthy this condition is, we need to look at our biological timeline. Your muscle mass and strength naturally hit their absolute peak around age 30. From there, the gradual decline kicks in. Between the ages of 40 and 64, nearly 9% of people already show prevalence of sarcopenia. While the clinical condition itself is technically rare before 60, the actual decay begins decades earlier. And once we hit age 60, that rate of muscle loss accelerates aggressively, eventually affecting up to a staggering 50% of people by age 80.
So, why does this happen in the first place? Well, besides physical inactivity and a poor diet, the sheer mechanics of the natural aging process are at play here. As we age, our bodies simply stop producing the same amount of proteins that our muscles desperately need to grow. The fundamental building blocks are reduced, making muscle maintenance a steeper and steeper climb.
But, the physical shrinking of our muscles is really just one side of the coin. Let's move to Section 1, the hidden metabolic cost. Now, what's really interesting here is how heavily our entire metabolism relies on our muscles. Your skeletal muscle handles a massive percentage of your glucose disposal after a meal. When you lose that muscle, it severely impairs glucose metabolism, which leads directly to insulin resistance and dysglycemia. But there is more. Sarcopenia triggers chronic inflammation, marked by elevated CRP and cytokines. On top of that, lipids, or fats, start accumulating right inside the muscle tissue itself. This impairs mitochondrial function and creates reactive oxygen species, which, in turn, fuels even more inflammation. It is a vicious, hidden cycle.
And this brings us to a rather concerning comparison. Standard aging presents its own fair share of challenges, for sure. But when sarcopenia joins forces with obesity, a condition experts call sarcopenic obesity, the danger multiplies dramatically. This specific combination drastically spikes your risk of severe metabolic disorders, like metabolic syndrome, dyslipidemia, and significant vitamin D deficiency. You are, quite literally, fighting a war on two fronts.
Let's bring this clinical data right back to your daily life. Walking up a flight of stairs, merely getting out of the deep chair, lifting a slightly heavy object, or carrying your groceries from the car. Sarcopenia quietly reduces your exercise tolerance. It brings on weakness and fatigue, meaning this hidden metabolic cost eventually steals your ability to perform the simplest, most fundamental daily tasks. Which brings us to the stark, end-stage reality of this condition. When muscle weakness combines with poor balance, the risk of falls, fractures, and severe injuries absolutely surges. Ultimately, this leads straight to a loss of independence, causing impaired mobility and potentially the need for long-term care. And tragically, as activity becomes harder, people move less, which just leads to even more muscle loss. It severely compromises quality of life.
But take a breath, because there is absolutely brilliant news. Sarcopenia is not an undefeated enemy. We have powerful, actionable solutions to fight back, starting right on your dinner plate. Section 2, your nutritional armor.
Experts are incredibly clear on the exact nutritional target required here. To actively prevent muscle loss, you need to consume 25 to 30 grams of protein at every single meal. Distributing this protein evenly throughout the entire day is absolutely key to defending your muscle mass.
Now, this might genuinely surprise you. While we have standard protein guidelines for younger adults, if you are an older adult dealing with sarcopenia, the rules change completely. To achieve a net neutral protein balance, literally just to stop the loss, experts state you may need 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body mass per day. That is more than twice the recommended intake for a standard adult. It is a massive, absolutely crucial dietary shift.
And this brilliantly illustrates that we need a whole diet approach. We're not just talking about chugging raw protein powder here. You need leucine-rich foods, an amino acid that is vital for muscle. But look at the rest. Oily fish, abundant fruits and vegetables, and fiber. Many older adults simply miss out on these. In fact, research highlights that the Mediterranean diet has fantastic potential to improve your overall diet quality and actively defend against sarcopenia.
And to beautifully complement that whole diet approach, studies suggest a few specific supplements are highly beneficial for reducing your risk. Things like whey protein, creatine, vitamin D, HMB, and omega-3 fatty acids. When combined with that even protein distribution we talked about, these act as powerful reinforcements for your nutritional armor.
But nutrition alone, it is simply not enough. We must give those muscles a reason to grow. Section 3. Movement as medicine. So, the crucial point here is that fighting sarcopenia requires a dynamic, wonderfully diverse arsenal of movement. You absolutely need resistance training, compound movements, balance work, aerobic conditioning, and flexibility. It's a complete 360-degree approach to building physical resilience.
Let's move on and see how this builds your functional foundation. Resistance training, specifically compound exercises like squats, deadlifts, and push-ups, are uniquely efficient. Why? Because they demand that multiple major muscle groups work together simultaneously. You aren't just isolating one tiny muscle, you are teaching your entire body to generate force and support itself, which is exactly how we have to move in the real world.
Then we have a truly vital component, balance and stability training. Using a Bosu ball or simply practicing standing on one leg directly trains your body's coordination. Think back to that terrifying risk of falls and fractures we discussed earlier. This specific type of training is exactly what prevents those falls. This coordination literally saves your independence. Combine it with aerobic work for your heart and flexibility for your joints, and you've got an unstoppable routine.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a profound question. What will you do today to protect your tomorrow? Sarcopenia may be a silent thief, but as we have clearly seen, you hold the power to lock the doors. Whether it is adding that 30 grams of protein to your next meal or practicing your balance right there in your living room, the time to build your resilience is right now. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay strong, stay curious, and take wonderful care of yourselves.